All right, welcome everyone. It's Danny Moss here, and we are back for another session this evening. And this time it is on literacy supports and assistive technology for students with Google Docs and Read and Write. So, whereas you may have attended a session previously, as Jad was alluding to earlier a few minutes ago, I did a session, Literacy with Google Docs. And when I did the needs assessment survey late last week, it wasn't the highest session, but there was also a decent number of people who were asking for more with the Read and Write toolbar, not only in Google Docs, but how it could support literacy on websites, as well as in PDF documents. It's fantastic in PDF documents, man. You can annotate on top of it, you can do voice comments, you can do all sorts of cool stuff. So we're going to kind of do both. We're going to look at both of those pieces there. So they're kind of these supports which allow students to work more independently and be more self-directed at home. So while this is you here today, these are things that we can then share with students and their parents as well. And what I really ought to do is find some really solid parent resources that support the Read and Write toolbar. I'll share with you a resource that I shared in a previous session from one of the school divisions in Alberta that can be shared with your parents as far as the Read and Write toolbar goes and learning how to use it. So, all right, so why don't we get started, everyone? We have a small group here tonight. There's Ken Haxtell from Alberta Regional PD Consortia, and there is myself, and then 6 of you. So, and I know, Jad, you said you'd be in and out a little bit. That's totally fine because some of this is repeat content for you. So if anybody else, it's a small enough group that you can pretty much order what you want. You can basically get a la carte menu here tonight. So if you see something or have any specific requests, even though I do have session materials planned, I want to certainly make it relevant to what you want right now, okay? So what I'm going to do is the best way to do this, I think, is for you to try this out too. And if you do have the ability to, split screen like Shelley does, and if your screen is big enough and you'd like to kind of see the Zoom on one side and try some stuff out, I'll be sending you some links which will hopefully activate as hyperlinks in your group chat. I know it's hit and miss in this Zoom, depending on which version you're using, whether those are hyperlinks or not. So that would be a way that you could try some of these things out as we go. And there were also some things in the previous Literacy with Google Docs session that I wasn't able to cover that I'm going to try to get to a little bit more this time. Okay, so I'm going to start with why don't I start with the sample Google Docs. So I have given this one before. I don't know, some of you may have seen this one before, where you can add in a whole bunch of stuff. So I'm going to, did you know that when you have been working in a Google Doc or Google Slides, you can, especially, this is really handy when you've got groups of students working together on something, you can go back to previous versions of that same document and see all the changes that were made, and you can go back to a previous version which might have been blank. So let's see what I can do here. Let's see if I can find a version that's very clean. There it is. So I'm going to restore this version. Very handy. All right, so what I'm going to do with this Google Doc is I'm going to give you a copy if you would like. And I'm going to paste it in here. And what it will do is it will force you to make a copy of this particular Google Doc. So I'll just very briefly touch on, and this again will be a repeat for those of you who are at the Literacy with Google Docs. This will be a bit of a repeat. Just by a kind of a response in the group chat, did any of you attend, aside from Jad, did any of you attend that Literacy with Google Docs session before? Because if none of you have, then it'll be all new to you. But if you all have, then then it'll all be a repeat and I can skip it. And if part and part, then we'll just do our best with that. Okay, so Shelley, no. Anybody else care to share? Okay, wonderful. All right, so three no's. All right, in that case, this is a great place to start with just some, okay, 4 no's. So in that case, I'll just start with some really nice, great literacy supports for students that are built right into Google Docs, okay? And now, that link that I sent you through the group chat, did that hyperlink for you? In other words, when you clicked on it, did it work, or is it just straight up text? If it is just straight up text, there's not much I can do with that. I don't have a slide deck here tonight. Oh, shoot. Well, you can just open up a brand new Google Doc, Patrice, if you wish to. And actually, there's a really handy way. This is a good way if you're working with kids live and you want them to be doing some writing in these remote environments. A really quick way to get them starting a brand new Google Doc is they kind of disappear. You can revert and go back and forth between those different versions, Ken. So it kind of still saves it somewhere in that document. A really fast, easy way to get started with writing. I love getting kids going on this all the time, regularly. Get them writing, get them creating some text, and you know, content literacy, etc. Is typing in a shortcut to get a new Google Doc is you type docs.new, docs.new, and that'll just basically open up a brand new blank Google Doc straight away. Works with Google Slides as well. Slides.new, boom. You want a new Google form? Forms.new. You want to start making a brand new Google site, website? Sites.new. Works really well. So there it is. Currently untitled document, blank slate. Why don't we just go to that? If you have a different version, that's totally fine. If you have that hyperlink version, that's great, but it doesn't really matter. I just had some text in there that gave some different prompts and things like that. All right, so what can we do? Well, a really handy tool for students, and it might be a handy tool for you too, but probably more so for your students. If they're having difficulty typing for whatever reason, cognitive disabilities, literacy, you know, they're struggling writers, emerging writers, very young students, there's a really handy tool in here called voice typing. Anybody tried it? It's under the tools menu. It's called voice typing. And basically it's exactly what you think it might be. Now, if anybody remembers those Dragon dictation days, the challenge with that piece of software is you had to train the software with your voice, and it was a real pain in the neck to get it up and going. This is straight away, you just click the mic and then boom, you can start talking and it will recognize your voice. Now, what you may notice if anybody's trying this, and great, Patrice, some people really love it, some teachers love it, other teachers don't love it. They think, well, that's a bit of a crutch for kids, and maybe it is, I'm not entirely sure, but maybe if used properly, it can be a good way to get students' ideas down on paper. And so the first time you click on this microphone here, if you haven't before, right up in the top upper left corner of Chrome, the browser is going to say, hey, can we use your microphone? It's asking us permission to use your mic. Are we allowed to? Allow. And then when it's red, it's mic's hot. And then when you click it again, it'll stop. Okay, here's how it goes. This is the voice typing tool in Google Docs, period. New line. It is very accurate and you do not need to train it with your voice. Exclamation mark, new paragraph. So you saw what I did there. I added in some punctuation, period, exclamation marks. Anybody use the voice dictation on their phone? So if you kind of get yourself trained to be saying those end punctuation or things like that, then you will get used to this. Now, even if you don't, and this will be more challenging for students when they're trying this, it's just going to come in as this huge string of text. And that's okay because they can go back, and that's not actually a bad revision exercise for kids to go back and really think about where are the capital letters supposed to be? Where is the end punctuation supposed to be? Is it a period? Is it a question mark? Is it an exclamation mark? Where should I put quotation marks? Those types of things. So those are some things to think about. Now, guess what? This thing works in about 80 languages. So that's really awesome. So kids can communicate in whatever language they're working in. If they're working in, if you're a language teacher, teaching French, teaching Spanish, whatever language you're teaching. And by the way, for those people who have Filipino students, there is one called, it's not called Tagalog for some reason. It's actually called Filipino. I don't know why. But according to the Filipino people I know who've tried this, they said that it works. And so that's great. So Patrice, yeah, if anything you try to copy in the Zoom group chat, for whatever reason, you can't copy. You can highlight it, Control-C or right-click, and it just will not copy. I don't know why. Maybe it's a security feature in Zoom. I do not know, but it drives people crazy because they want to copy stuff like links or text or something, right? So I apologize for that one. So yeah, you can get people communicating in any language. So that's a really handy tool. And related to that, let me take this sample document. I'll take this sample document. There is a nice feature as well in the tools for if you have ESL, ELL families and you've created, let's say, a little instructions piece for your students on a particular thing. Maybe you're teaching young students and you want the parents to have the instructions. If the English is not a first language for those parents, there's a translation feature built right in. So under Tools, Translate Document. Now, here's what it will do and here's what it won't do, okay? What it will do is make you a copy of your current document, and you'll be able to choose, again, from any of those 80 or 90 languages. Now, it's not perfect, as anybody who's used Google Translate will tell you, it's not perfect. But if I've got a family who's just moved here from Saudi Arabia or Vietnam, and they do not speak English or read English yet, or at a very emerging level, having something that they can at least get the message across might be really, really useful. Now, here's what it doesn't do in a good way. It doesn't change the document that I have. It makes a new copy, and it just translates it into a particular language. So somebody in the group chat, give me a language. Pick a language. Anyone pick a language, and I will translate it into that language. Burmese, wow, let's see if it is there. Now, oh, of course, very good one. Patrice, you picked the one, I can't see that. So if it is related to a particular culture, it's not listed here as Burmese. So I could do Spanish. I've done like Chinese, simplified Chinese, you name it. Like there's a whole bunch. So let's go with Spanish. So let's see, it's not Espanol, it will actually say Spanish. There it is. Oh, there it was. Spanish. All right, so I'll just hit translate, and then bada bing, bada bang, it's going to open in a new tab. And then, so if you have a class newsletter or things like that that you're creating, you're sending it home digitally in all likelihood, maybe you're printing it off, but now we have all of these things and our document is translated. So it doesn't change our original document, it just made another version of it. So that's pretty handy. So when you combine the fact that you've got voice typing plus the translation, now you have an option for a student who's just new to Canada or new to speaking English. What if they were to speak in their native tongue? If the idea is to get some ideas down, let's say it's a science concept and you're not testing their language skills, but you actually want to get their ideas down from what they learned in science or social studies or a different subject. You have them speak in their native tongue, and then they do the translation or with the help of a parent possibly, depending on the age, and now they can hand it back in English. So there are lots of possibilities for the combination of this voice typing and the translation. So those are two tools that might work nicely for you. Now, let me see what else we've got on here. Okay, so there are some really nice features that also support content literacy here. And let me just show you the inserting an image, okay? Inserting an image, there's two things I want to focus on from inserting an image menu. So if you have your own document open, try this out. Insert image. Choose the one that's second down called Search the Web. Now, what I really like about this is it's very simplified. It puts that Google image search right in the Google Doc. Does not open up a new tab. It's not going to confuse anyone. It's right there. The second thing I really like about it, somebody in the group chat, list an animal. I'll type in an animal, okay, a picture of an animal. But it's also copyright-free images. And so these images, they're Black Panther, you got it. Oh, Black Panther lion. Nobody said tiger, huh? We got the Cats family here. Anybody watch Tiger King? Oh, it's Carol Baskins. That was a terrible. Okay, Black Panther. Whoa, Black Panther. We've even got the Marvel character. So let's say I want to choose this particular one and insert. Okay, check it out. So there it is, Black Panther. It's copyright free. And so that image search goes right on our page. And by the way, here's a trick that not a ton of people know. If you came to the Google Slides one a couple days ago, you would have seen this one. But two things you can do with this picture. Let's say you just wanted the cat's head here. I didn't want this other stuff right here. We can crop out. There's a crop tool. So when you've clicked on the picture and you see the dots, then you can use straight above, you can use the crop tool. And it will let you drag in from the corners or the sides, and it lets you drag away the parts of the picture that you don't want. Okay? And just like it works on people's phones. And then it's just that, right? Now, another way to, a shortcut to crop a picture for your own productivity's sake is just to double click on that picture. And then there's the cropping tool. Look, even the original part of the picture is still there. It's just kind of hidden, isn't it? So I'm just going to undo that because I want the whole picture back. But you can crop it if you want. Now, finally, oh, they do not have crop to shape here. Why did I think they did? Okay, that's just a Google Slides feature. In Google Slides, there's a feature right next to the crop button where you can crop the picture to a particular shape. So if you can crop a picture into a shape of a star or a circle, and it will just keep the part of the picture and then put the rest of it in this shape. So that's a handy thing to look for in Google Slides. I thought it was in Google Docs, but nope, apparently not. All right, so we can resize that picture as well very easily. And yeah, so very easy. Now, another thing I really love about inserting images is a really nice hack, because look, we don't want kids to stop using their pencil, okay? I know I've been doing lots of technology sessions, but language arts is my minor, man. I'm elementary generalist, but language arts minor. I love it when kids are writing or doing math or all sorts of things with their pencil or their pens or their felts or whatever, right? Do we really want people in front of a computer screen 24/7? No, we don't. Want them there for certain things that might be useful or beneficial for them, but let's also not let them forget about holding a pencil and pencil crayons, drawing maps and drawing covers of, drawing diagrams, plot diagrams, doing math problems, etc. We can bring those in to a Google Doc really, really quickly. Yes, you can insert it very easily. And Patrice, as soon as we're done here with this particular one, because we've got a small group here, I'm going to jump to, there's a really, if you know Chrome extensions, are you familiar with Chrome extensions that you can install? There's one for Jiffy, and it's really handy. I'll show it to you. Or you can go search the Chrome Web Store right now. You can beat me to it. So check it out. I'm going to go insert image. Wait a sec. To do this next part, I'm going to turn my camera off. Insert image from camera. Why would we want to insert an image from the camera? Well, it's going to activate the webcam here. And exactly what we want to do now with this camera, do we want kids putting selfies in their Google Doc? Probably not. But what if they were to have done a math problem and then they hold that up to the screen, or if they drew an art picture, or they drew a diagram for science? We can hold our picture up to the screen, and we can find this little shutter button here and click, and then we can bring those pictures in and digitize things really fast. Now, if kids can't find, if this is too much you should try this out yourself. It's a bit of a challenge. You're holding this up properly, and then it's kind of backwards right now. You're looking for this camera shutter button. You can press the space bar. It's the same thing. So let's say I hold my thing up here and I hit the space bar. Now I can bring that picture in, okay? Pick your picture, insert it. It's not super clear, it's not bad, but if it's like a math problem or if what it now lets me do is take something on paper, bring it in very quickly. Now I can write about it some more, okay? What if I did a math problem and I want to explain my thinking? Or what if I, did a diagram in science, I wanted to now write about it some more. So it allows you very quickly to bring in something from the concrete world. Hold up a picture of your favorite toy and talk about it, some creative writing activities. You never know, the teachers are extremely creative. I'm sure you're far more creative than I am, and could think of some wonderful ways of what around in our physical world, whether it's paper or something else, we could bring in through this camera onto our documents. This works with Google Slides too, to then be able to then communicate about in some way, okay? So those are some options for you. Did you know that there are all sorts of cool, awesome fonts in here? This is good for you to know as you create Google Docs. So right now, this standard default Arial font, hit the down arrow next to Arial. Everybody trying this? Hit the down arrow. You see a few there, but look at the one that right at the top here, more fonts. This is unreal. So if you haven't tried this out, you really need to. So basically, the idea is, that anything that is checkmarked with blue, you have in your list of your own fonts. So if you want to think, oh, I actually like that Montserrat, it looks pretty good, I'll just select it. And then you think, oh man, this, let's keep going there. Let's find out some ones that look really good. Oh, Anton looks good, I'll try that one. Lobster looks awesome, I'll try that one. So Indie Flower, Pacifico, wow, these all look super cool. I'm gonna hit OK. Now they're in my list of fonts. So when we add in some really cool fonts, and then we adjust the size, we adjust the font colors, we can get something that looks pretty beautiful pretty quickly, okay? So you might want to then go back to something a bit smaller, a bit more normal, if you will, and then on you go. So check that out. It's your font list there, and you can add more fonts to it, okay? That's just sort of a eye candy. Did you have any luck, Patrice, finding the Jiffy? So Patrice was asking, can you add an animated GIF? So here's this Jiffy extension, and let's type in yes. All right, I can drag and drop these pictures, these animated pictures, into my Google Docs or slides, and it can be a lot of fun. Add a fun element to your pictures. Don't get the students to install this on their devices, because I don't invite them to anyways, because there are probably some ones here that are borderline inappropriate. But you, of course, will be able to search through that. You just get rid of that part if you want, and then there it is. So that's how you get the, if anybody, how do I get that Jiffy extension, asked Shelley. Good question. Well, to do that, I go to the Chrome Web Store, chrome.google.com/web store, or you can just do a Google search for Chrome Web Store. And I'll just copy, I don't know if it's gonna work to show up as a hyperlink for you. Oh, look at that, Jiffy for Chrome. It's almost like they were listening to us. So, but you can just do a search for GIPHY. And there it is. Look at that, you even have a Jiffy for Gmail if you've got Gmail. So you just click on that, add to Chrome, and then it just shows up at the very top of your browser there. So you can add it to your own Google Docs, your own Google Slides, your own Google websites. Works really good. It's super, super handy. In fact, you can even add these, well, I don't know if animated GIFs would work in a Microsoft Word or PowerPoint. I'm not entirely sure. I think it does, but I can't promise it. Outlook email, I don't think it works. I've tried that myself. So you can have a lot of fun with that. You're welcome. Okay, so where are we at? Let's now get a little more serious in terms of learning. We're gonna now focus on how can we organize our learning a little bit more. And I'm going to suggest to you that when you have kids working in a Google Doc, to sort of organizing some of that content knowledge, a really great tool to do that is adding a table. Okay, I'm gonna add in a table, insert a table, and I'm gonna go 3 columns wide. And I'm going to go 5 columns deep. 5 rows, I guess I should say. So I'm going to say parts of a plant. We're going to do some grade 4 science. I'm going to go websites. If you already have the sample Google Doc, you already see this. And images. So let's say I want to, any grade 4 teachers in the house? Root, STEM. You grade 4 science teachers? Flower. Leaves. Okay, so we have different parts of the plant. Websites, there's a really great research tool that's built right into Google Docs, and it is called, this research tool is called the Explore tool. So if you look right down in the bottom right of your screen, bottom right of your Google Doc, you'll see something that looks like a compass, and it's called Explore. When you click on it, it opens up a little searching research sidebar. And it's also in the tools menu. If you can't find it in the bottom right of your screen, just go to the tools menu and go explore. Okay, it's really handy. So check this out. In this scenario, I want to do some research in my science for parts of a plant. I want to find some good websites. We're going to share these websites as a class together, and I want to find some pictures. Okay, to do some science research for a project we have. So I'm going to go type in my search bar, plant root. All right, here's a whole bunch of great websites about plant roots. Here's a bunch of great pictures from my plant roots. Hey, look at, they even will search my own Google Drive for plant roots. So I want to focus on these first two, websites and images. So websites here, check it out. Let's say I went to this particular website and I thought, okay, this is a really good one. I like this. I'm going to share this with my class, and as part of a good research website, I'll close it. Here it was right here. Watch what you can do with this link. See this? Watch everybody. If you, this is a one I want you to watch closely. What you can do with these Explore websites, if you want to bring them right onto your Google Doc, just click on it, hold down, and just drag it. Drag it. Let go. There it is, plant roots. Now that's not the best part. Wait for this, but wait, there's more. If when I am mousing over these web search results, do you see the little quotation mark that's flying up there on each one? Do you see it? What that is a citation option. And look, my mouse, my cursor is still right here, right after plant roots. Watch what I'm going to do. Click on that, and it's going to cite it as a footnote. And when I scroll down to the bottom of the page, look at that. We have a nice little citation there. Now, there's a little footnote. If I did another one, it would call it number 2 automatically, and it would be right below here automatically. Isn't that nice? So even at a very young age, even though they don't need to fully understand all of this, what they can start to understand, even at a grade 3 level, grade 4 level, they can understand, I can give credit to sources that I find on the internet. And it's a right thing to do. And so whatever age they're in, they don't have to be in high school or university to find value in it, citing their sources. So that's very easy to do. Again, it's in the web search results. You can click it, you can drag those things over, you can just mark your citations at any point in time. And look at this. See right next to at the top of the web results where it shows the Google symbol, web results, look, you can even switch formatting. Now, if there are high school English teachers in the house right now, this might be of value if you want to go between MLA, APA, and Chicago. I don't really know the difference myself, but you have that option. Now the images, hey, has anybody ever put an image into a Word document and then the whole thing blows up? This is one thing I really like about Google Docs. Watch, I can take a picture of one of these plant roots. Let's say, which one? I'll do this one because it's kind of showing underneath the ground. Watch this, I drag and drop. And what it does is it resizes the picture to the width of your column. So whatever the column width was here, it doesn't expand at all. Just we'll make that picture fit. So remember that really super huge picture of the Black Panther we had? So if I had put that Black Panther picture in a table, then it would just resize itself really quite nicely. So this is a good thing we can do with kids to help them organize some of that information they're putting together. It's good to have it organized for their brain, and it just makes it a nice, easy way to sort things out on their document. Okay, so that is the Explore tool. So check that out. Just close it, hit the little X there when you no longer need it. So those are a few of the features in Google Docs that I really like. I'm going to go down here and hit the Enter button. In fact, why don't I just do this? I'll insert a page break. So under the Insert menu, Break, and then Page Break. Does anybody here like keyboard shortcuts? If you do, hold the Control key and then push Enter, and that'll give you a page break. So Control key, Enter. That'll give me a brand new page break. All right. Has anybody here ever seen Google Drawings? It's drawings.google.com. It's kind of like a paint program. You can do so many cool things with Google Drawings. Lots and lots of great templates out there for things like making your own magazine covers or virtual math manipulatives, all sorts of things. Anyways, there is a drawing tool, that same drawing tool built right into Google Docs. So if we now want to communicate visually a little bit, we can insert a drawing. So let's insert drawing. Now, if we had a Google Drawing file in our Google Drive, we could bring it in from our Google Drive. But let's say we're just going to start from scratch here. I can just go Insert Drawing and then go New, and watch what happens. It's a blank canvas, and I can put all sorts of things on it. I can find images. I can put in shapes of all sorts. So I could put sun here if I felt like it, and I could make the sun yellow. And there's all sorts of stuff we can do here. We can add in text blocks. I can go into actions and insert word art. This is cool. Hit enter. So this is my word art. And by the way, if you ever want to, you ever see like online memes, you know, where they have a funny picture and then they have some words above and then words below it? If you're wondering what that font is, it's Impact. If you do Impact font and then fill it with white, then it's almost like meme font. You can even make your own memes with students and then write about it. And that could be resized. And then when I hit save and close, it pops it into my Google Doc. Now you might think to yourself, oh, darn it, I forgot to add in a picture of that Black Panther. Well, you can just double click on that drawing and it'll open it back up. Now I can add it from here again. Hit the image and I can search, do the Google search. Look at that, I can even add take a snapshot from my camera, but I don't see why I'd need to do that in a Google drawing. Maybe I would, but now let's say I'm gonna do a Google search. Again, copyright free, Black Panther. I'm not sure how those Black Panthers are copyright free. Did I do that right? You know what? I think I went one thing. I hit the wrong insert. I should have hit this one. Select down here first. And it'll bring it in. Now I'll hit save and close. So now I can do some writing about that. So it's a really interesting way to kind of draw kids into those writing experiences. Lots of different options you have here in a Google Doc, okay? Now in terms of giving, I'd already done lots of different feedback sessions on Google Docs, so I'm not going to belabor that point, but just a reminder that anything you see in a student's document, when you highlight the text, you can now use the add comment feature and give kids feedback comments. And then when you do so, I'm just going to type the word comment. When they see that there and they click on it, they can reply to it. Now we can have a back and forth conversation about that feedback. So just a reminder on that piece. So we're going to switch gears now. Those are some of the basics of Google Docs, but what I want to do is show you some of the Read and Write Toolbar functionality as well, unless there are any burning questions about what we've looked at thus far. I want to show you the Read and Write Toolbar. Do you all have, I'm assuming that you all have the Read and Write Toolbar purchased through your school division. Most school divisions in Alberta have this toolbar purchased for students, and it's free for teachers. They only charge by the student. And so when a division buys for district-wide for their students, then all the teachers get it as well. And what's nice about that is what the IT departments do then is they push this extension out such that when students sign into the Chrome browser with their school division account, and then when they're prompted, hey, do you want to sync your account? Yes, I do. And they hit yes, I do. Then it will bring in all your division Chrome extensions as well. It'll follow them around. So they should, in theory, have, if you have a division license for Read and Write for Chrome, they should have that at home. I'm just going to click on that purple puzzle piece. Do all of you have Read and Write? Does anybody here not have Read and Write at home? Yes, so a lot of yeses on that one. And I'm hoping that most of you have it. I think that it's really prevalent in Alberta. So let's just look here. We have lots of options here on this toolbar, okay? And let's see. Here are some things that are in this toolbar to support your, do you have it in your browser right now? Do you see a puzzle piece, Shelley, in your Chrome? Are you signed into your school division account? When you click in the upper right-hand corner of Chrome, I'm assuming you're in the Chrome browser, do you see your division email address? And do you see that purple home computer? Okay. And you may not have signed into the Chrome browser. No, don't be sorry. You can get from the Chrome Web Store, if you have gone to that Chrome Web Store, you can get a 30-day free trial, even if you're not signed in. So you can just go to that, do a Google search for Chrome Web Store, and then you can just go read the and symbol, right. And then you will see it right here, and you'll get a 30-day free trial. So if you want to try it out this evening, you can do that. And again, if your division has it, then if you are interested, and some people do not want to sign into their division account from home. They're worried that maybe the division's checking up on all their stuff or whatever you're doing. Be that as it may, if you do choose in the upper right-hand corner of your Chrome browser to sign in to your division account, then any of those extensions will follow you and the kids around. So you can get that Read and Write toolbar there, but I'm just going to assume now that you have it. And if you don't have it open, look for the purple puzzle piece in your Chrome extensions in the upper right corner, and that should pop it right down in here. And I don't have to hit this little X to close it. I can just kind of hit this little caret here, and it will just kind of hide it right here. It just hangs down. Have you guys seen this before? Very, very handy. So what does it do? Well, it does a whole bunch of things. I can highlight a word, and I can open up my dictionary and check it out. These are all the different definitions of this word. And look, for every one, there's a play button.
Noun. The sound that comes from your mouth when you speak is your voice. She raised her voice to show that.
Not bad, hey? So what Read and Write is really famous for is the reading part. So the students can highlight a block of text, and you've got these kind of, do you see this here, the play, pause, and stop buttons? You've got this little triangle, these two lines, and a square. And if you hit the play button.
It is very accurate, and you do not need to train it with.
Right, so you can have it play back text. As I said, there's a dictionary in there. There's also a picture dictionary. So I've got the dictionary I've already looked at. Okay, there's a picture dictionary. Look at that. I've got a whole bunch of pictures now.
Root.
Anywhere you see these little triangles, it will read it. Now, here's a secret. You see the picture dictionary? Does anybody have this open? You trying this out? Anybody, if you have the picture dictionary open and you're in a Google Doc, you can take any one of these pictures and you can drag the picture onto your document. Pretty cool. So the picture dictionary is there, the dictionary is there. Again, play, pause, and stop, so that's super handy. Watch this one, everybody. Does anybody have this open, by the way, the Read and Write Toolbar on their own computer in a Google Doc? Anyone? Anyone? No? Yes? Sorry, you're probably trying to do 3 things at once here in your Google Doc. You probably don't want to reach over to that group chat. But for those of you who do, so Barbara H does, okay, sorry, Patrice, it's probably boring just to watch. But Barbara, look for the one that looks like a computer screen with a line through it. Do you see it? Click on it. Look what it does. Huh? Anybody ever have a ruler? Anybody ever read a novel with a ruler before, holding it underneath? Or sometimes that colored, like yellow acetate or something that would just focus students. So it's just a way of focusing. They call it screen mask. So you can just click it again to get it to stop, but that is certainly an option you have in the Read and Write Toolbar. There is this thing called an MP Talk and Type, but you know what? It'll work better on other websites, but you know, this voice typing thing is so good in Google Docs that the Read and Write people, company Text Help, when they ended up replacing their own Talk and Type tool with Google's voice typing. So if I click on Talk and Type, it'll just open up Google's voice typing. Oh, see how it typed it in on my screen there? So that's how good Google's is. There is a translator here, and you can set what you want to be the original as well as the translated. So if I just type it, select voice and go translate.
Sonorizar.
Looks like I have my language set to Spanish, but I can change that. I'll show you how to make those changes. Now, the highlighters are all good. This is one that'll kind of blow your mind, okay? If I have some vocabulary words on my page, individual words this works with. Watch this. I'm going to take my highlighters in here, and I'm just going to highlight. It doesn't matter what color. They can be the same color. They can be different color. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to highlight some of these words. Ready? So I've highlighted some vocabulary words off my Google Doc. Now, see this button right here in your Read and Write toolbar? It looks like a bulleted list. Looks like a bulleted list. It's a vocabulary tool. Watch what happens. If you haven't seen this, it's going to blow your mind. First time I saw this, I was like, holy crow, this is awesome. So what it does is it's finding all those highlighted words from I didn't do anything. It just opened itself a brand new Google Doc, and every word that I had highlighted on that screen, it is going to make me a vocabulary list. And that will include the word, all the definitions they have, all the pictures they have, and a little place for notes. Now, what I would do with students with this is if they have, obviously they don't need 5 definitions of the word flower. So what I would do if I'm doing this with students, I would try to ask them in the context of this writing, which one of these definitions is best? And so maybe it's just the top one. So I would just get rid of the rest. I would just highlight, backspace, and get rid of it. Pictures, you can keep them all or keep some, it's up to you, and then they can write some notes. So it's a neat way of building a personal vocabulary list. So where did my document go? Well, it's still over here, one tab to the left, and it just opened this thing and it saved this in my Google Drive, a thing called Vocabulary List Untitled. Now, here's the bad part. Every time in every Google Doc, it also works with websites, so that's pretty cool actually. Highlight words on a regular website, like a news article, and then it'll make you a vocabulary list. That's cool. But it doesn't add to the same vocabulary list. It makes you a brand new Google Doc every single time you do this, and it pops it in there. But maybe that's okay. Better than nothing, and it's actually a pretty good tool. So I'm just going to close that vocabulary list, go back to my Google Doc. This is probably my favorite feedback tool. Now it's something students can use. Do you remember the comments feature in Google Docs, right? Every time you highlight something, this little plus thing shows up and I can make a comment to students. Well, guess what? There is a tool here called Voice Note that takes over that comment section and will let me give an audio comment of up to 1 minute long per comment. I can do 10 comments on a page if I feel like it and get 10 minutes of me speaking or the student speaking. So here's how you do it. You just highlight something, go to your voice notes, right? Look for the little microphone button. This is my voice note, and I'm giving you feedback on your writing. So you can play it back. This is my voice note. And all right, let's say I like it. I can hit insert. It takes a few seconds for this to work, but once it's done in a few seconds, what you'll see happen is it will pop itself in as a comment. Now see how it looks like a whole bunch of, it says text help and then a long Google Drive link? When you put your mouse over it, watch, boom, it turns into a play button. And now, this is my voice note, and now the students can hear those comments. And I'll tell you what, if you want to give feedback to students, there's never enough time to give kids feedback on their writing in a Google Doc, but this can really save you a lot of time. So if you're okay with your voice being on a microphone and maybe you've got a headset or you've got a decent mic on your laptop, you can give kids a lot of feedback really fast. Like it will cut down on that time that it'll take you to type it, to just do it with your voice. It'll cut it down. You'll probably take you 1/3 of the time to give the same amount of feedback. And they can hear your voice. So it's more personalized and you can understand, and they'll be able to make sense of your emotion and those other things that we can learn by hearing a voice versus just reading words, right? There's so much communication that's communicated that way. I'm sure the kids would be thrilled to hear your voice too. All right, so those are the main features of that support the reading. I want to show you, I'm going to scroll down a little bit. There is a really cool writing, a couple of writing supports in here as well. And two of the main ones are the second from the left on here. It looks like a crystal ball. When I click it, what you'll see pop up is it's a word prediction. So as I'm writing, it's predicting and giving me supports with my writing. So if I said one day I was walking down the street, watch what happens. One day I was. Now, after I stop was, I don't know if you can see that or not from your screens, but they are giving me 10 choices that would make sense. One day I was I was in, I was going, I was just, and watch, when I put my mouse over these words,
going, just, the,
it reads it for me. And I could
just,
just
going,
click on any one of those words and it would pop it in. Now I know I'm a young emerging writer and I know that walking, I want to say, one day I was walking. I know walking starts with a W. So I type W, check it out. Now there's 10 words that start with a W that make sense. Okay, they're all verbs. So which is it? Is it this one?
watching,
Oh, no, I thought that was walking. No, that's watching.
walking,
Ah, there it is. I can just click on it and it'll just type it in for me. And then they can just turn it off if they don't like it hovering around. So what do you think of that? Do you like that? I really like that personally. The final thing that is in this particular tool is this Check It tool. And this won't work very well on this particular, let me go to this sample student writing. I should zoom in. I'll zoom into what, 150% so you can see it. This is a sample piece of student writing and they've made some mistakes on it. By using that Check It tool, what things it will look for, you'll see some purple underlines. What is cool about this is that it will search for, not only will it search for spelling, capitalization, punctuation, but watch what else it'll search for. It'll even search for word usage. So if I type in, let me just turn this off for a second. I was walking over there to get my bike. Now I used the wrong version of there. So check it out. I turn on the, check it, it highlights it. I spelled there correctly, but it's the wrong usage of there. So it'll even give me the proper usage here. So this is a way that we can now give kids more independence and being more self-directed. Now they need to learn how to use this tool and we can guide them through that and give them little lessons on how to use this. I'll give you a really great website in a couple of minutes when the session closes to show you how you can learn more about it. That's the main features of Read and Write in here. Now, if I open up a brand new website, let's say I go to edmontonjournal.com. I want to read a newspaper article in class. And oh geez, look at this. COVID, 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 COVID. COVID. Even the zoo articles are about COVID, COVID, COVID. Is there anything not about COVID here? All right, let's talk about Paul Coffey loves Evan Bouchard's overall game. So let's say I'm interested in sports. I'm a young student. It is great for all students, says Ken. And you're absolutely right. So it really fits that universal design for learning. It's great for all students. So if I open up this particular article, check it out. I've got the Read and Write Toolbar now. All right, come on, now that it's loaded, let me open up the Read and Write Toolbar. There it is. Now it's a floating toolbar. Whoops. Now it's a floating toolbar that I can move around the page, and I can do the same thing. I can highlight words and have it read to me.
Paul Coffey loves Evan Bouchard's offensive ability.
Right, I can highlight words on this web page, and I can do that vocabulary builder. Remember that vocabulary builder? Okay, where it makes me a vocabulary list from a web page. That's pretty cool. That's going to pop open here in a second and I shouldn't have pushed that button. But there's a new feature. I'm just going to close that before it opens. There's another feature on here that I really like for web pages. And that is one we didn't see in Google Docs, and that is the Simplify Page. Now, obviously pictures can be quite useful in reading, provide some context clues, right? Context cues for kids as they're reading. But there can be a lot of distractions. Maybe it's advertisements, maybe it's videos, other things that might distract kids. So watch this. When I go simplify a page, watch what happens. It's going to open that page in a new tab. All right. Oh, look at that. Discover tool. What is the Discover tool? I haven't even tried that. So now what it has done, it has pulled all the text off of that story. And I've got my full Read and Write toolbar, and I've got the text off of that story. Watch this. You think that's cool? Look at this. I can go simplify. I can hit the minus button. Minus, minus, minus. And what it's doing is it's removing some of the text. It's not simplifying it, but now instead of being an article that was this long, it's now this long, and it's captured just the main points of that story. I can hit plus to add more text back, or I can go minus. Look what else it can do. Yeah, it's black on white, but what if we were a student who needed a different type of contrast for visual impairments? Okay, you got some different options there for contrast, different fonts. Oh, look at that, Open Dyslexic. This is new. I haven't seen that. How do I do Open Dyslexic? I thought I just did it. Make it even larger. Why isn't this turning into Open Dyslexic? I thought it did. Wow, that's good. I didn't even see the Open Dyslexic piece before. And yet, Comic Sans, let's go to Open Dyslexic. Oh, weird, it isn't working. I don't know why it's stuck on sans serif. There we go, Open Dyslexic. I don't know if Open Dyslexic is still considered to be effective for students, but if so, you have that option there. So lots of features in this Read and Write toolbar for web pages as well as Google Docs. Okay, we've got just a couple minutes left in the session. Any burning questions? Wouldn't really have time to look in the PDF functionality tonight, but you get the sense now for what this tool can do. And it also works really nicely with PDF documents. There's even more functionality if you attach a PDF document, let's say from in your Google Classroom with these Read and Write tools. So when we look at where we've come tonight, we've taken a look at the voice typing. We've inserted pictures from the web. We've inserted pictures from the camera. Don't forget, digitize anything from the real world. Hold it up to the camera and bring it in. We looked at different fonts. We looked at organizing, learning, content literacy by inserting tables. And then we looked at that Explore tool. That was super cool. And we also looked at inserting drawings. We then looked at the Read and Write Toolbar and all the supports for both reading in terms of text-to-speech, or the writing supports in terms of things like the prediction. Lots of different options here, and we see that it works even on websites. So I'll leave you with a web page. If you type in bit.ly/ECSD read and write. Now, some of you aren't getting these links, so I'm just going to copy this. I'll show you what this page is. This is Edmonton Catholic Schools has created a page for their students, teachers, and parents. It shows what all of these tools do. And let's say I want to talk about the talking dictionary. I can go into one of these and I can see a video on how to use it and then some pro tips as well. Okay, even gives you a little activity to learn how to use it. So check out that site. And for those of you who can't copy that or activate that URL in the group chat, what I will do is I will put it in my Crafty Text extension. And that way it'll be nice and large on your screen in case you'd like to just jot it down. So that's bit.ly/ECSD read and write. Thank you for joining me for the last hour. Ken Hackstall, any closing thoughts or information you'd like to share? No worries if you don't, but if you do, you're welcome to.
Again, like I put in the chat, it's a very powerful, incredible learning tool that you demonstrated very well tonight. And just want to invite everyone to, again, just to check out the ARPDC offerings that are out there. Just go to the ARPDC. I can put that in there in the chat. But if you're looking for help, or any of your colleagues are looking for different things, there's a lot of resources that the consortium have pooled together, and I know that people are just looking for things and looking for ways. I happened to be outside this afternoon and happened to visit with my neighbor for a little bit. He's got a young son who's in junior high or in high school, and he's